Alright, so we're going to be taking a look at Drive Knight and Metal Knight and seeing who the true traitor of the Monster Association is and who should be trusted and who shouldn't. This isn't like a literal Metal Knight versus Drive Knight comparison video because we haven't seen them at their full potential yet and we just don't have enough info on this topic. But if you want like a short answer, I feel Metal Knight's potential is much greater than what Drive Knight seems to be, so Metal Knight would likely win if they went all out. But if Drive Knight fought an individual Metal Knight robot, he'd likely win no problem. So I've talked about a lot of this stuff in my review for Chapter 119, but I'm going to organize it better in this video and go deeper into things. I'm also going to finally explain the truth behind what Metal Knight is your enemy means. The famous line that Drive Knight told to Genos back in Season 1. So this all starts, of course, in Chapter 119, when Second Guard asked Drive Knight why he had been missing for 2 days after interrogating the monsters in Chapter 166. After that, he got the location of the Monster Association, which was in Z City, and he relayed this to the Hero Association. But after that, he went radio silent, and as Second Guard says, for 2 days. So Drive Knight's excuse for this is that he went behind enemy lines to collect information. He said he had to interrogate a few monsters to obtain said information, so it took a while. He had hoped to relay the information to the other heroes before they went inside, but he didn't want to risk the information falling into the hands of a traitor, so he didn't contact them. He then randomly asks what's the current situation regarding the heroes, the strike team inside of the Monster Association currently, and then he says that Tank Top Master, Metal Bat, and Watchdog Man are essentially absent from all of this. Watchdog Man is just in Q City, and Tank Top Master and Metal Bat are in the hospital. And then he says all of the capable A-class heroes are out too, because they're either in the support team who just got taken out by Neon, or they were taken out by Garo in Death Gatling's raid. And then he just says, if a new emergency were to develop, no capable hero would get to it in time, and the Hero Association is wide open. And then later on, of course, he asks about Blast. He's like, look, if hypothetically someone were to attack the Hero Association right now, would Blast show up? Just asking. And then Second Guard says, even if monsters attacked, the Hero Association is equipped with Metal Knight's defense system. And then Drive Knight says, well, he did build it after all, and you put your blind trust in him. And this is when Drive Knight accuses Metal Knight of being the traitor, and claiming that Metal Knight sent the robot into the Monster Association for their benefit. Talking about when the Metal Knight robot clamped on to Elder Centipede back in the early part of Season 2 and then went into the Monster Association and got taken out by Orochi. So this goes back to what he was saying about why he didn't want to give them the information, because he feels Metal Knight is the traitor, and that if he were to give this information to the Hero Association, then Drive Knight by proxy would obtain it. So, he says if they managed to analyze the machine's data, talking about the Monster Association taking the broken Metal Knight robot down there and absorbed the information and hacked into his system, they would have full control over his robots. And in that case, the Hero Association's defense system would be nullified and Bufoy's arsenal would be at their disposal. So that's interesting, right? None of the monsters tried to hack Metal Knight's robot. The only one that was interested in that was, of course, G5. And G5 was not initially a part of the Monster Association. He went there willingly. He said he was sent there by the organization. And then actually, he didn't really do much for them. I mean, he did attack Child Emperor and Atomic Samurai, and we'll go into that. But aside from that, he just went down there to collect Metal Knight's robot. He even set up his own shop and reorganized it and everything. And I'll go into exactly why he did that. So then Second Guard wisely questions why Bufoy would do that. Why would he just send the robot into the Monster Association if there was going to be a leak in the data? And then Drive Knight just says, oh, because he was just waiting for the opportunity for the Hero Association combat forces to be weakened, because he's a quote-unquote bad guy. And then he goes on to say or claim what Metal Knight's master plan is. And he says it's to keep growing his personal military force and to one day take over the world. The Hero Association is nothing more than an obstacle to him. So this isn't the first time that Drive Knight has planted the seed of doubt about Metal Knight. Like I said in the beginning of the video, he famously did this in Season 1 with Genos in Chapter 35 when he said, hey Genos, I should tell you something. Metal Knight is your enemy. Watch your back. And then Genos is like, what do you mean? He's like, you'll find out, but I'd stay away from him. Well, we're finding out that this is because Drive Knight wanted Genos to become his ally. And he likely wanted to convert him to the organization, either willingly or by force by hacking him. So that's it. We finally know the truth behind that line. It was just Drive Knight trying to manipulate Genos the whole time. And as for the big master plan that Drive Knight just talked about, that Metal Knight had about, taking over the Hero Association, building up everything, well, that's quite literally what Drive Knight's true goal is. He projected it right there on the Sekigar and tried to place it on Metal Knight, which likely means that Drive Knight is, of course, the leader of the organization and that they are his own personal army. I mean, throughout the series, they have been seen collecting battle data. That's all they want, and that's all they've ever gone after. The Paradisers, they claim that they allowed them to steal the suits, and that's a whole nother story. How did the Paradisers even find the organization to get the suits? But they allowed them to take the suits to collect data. Then G4, of course, went after King to collect data. G5 collected data on the Monster Association, Child Emperor, and Atomic Samurai. So who else collects data? Drive Knight, because he says that's why he was so late to the fight against Neon. He says, I collected the enemy's data beforehand. I was able to gain the upper hand in battle due to these conditions. And if we go back to G5 against Atomic Samurai, he did the same exact thing. He stood back, watched Atomic Samurai take care of all the fodder monsters, and then he decided to fight him. He said, Atomic Samurai, battle data acquisition complete. I have a complete copy of all of your sword techniques. But we're also finding out exactly why G5 retrieved Metal Knight's broken robot. It's because they are the ones who wanted to hack his system and take over his arsenal and the defense system of the Hero Association. That's it. Everything that he said about the Monster Association trying to do it, no, it was actually the organization through G5 who was led by Drive Knight. That is their ultimate goal, but that just finally clears it up. I was always suspicious of why did G5 want the Metal Knight robot? Why is organization interested in Metal Knight? Is it because they're trying to take him out because he's the enemy? No, they are actually the enemy. They just wanted to use his arsenal for their own benefit. And why is Drive Knight with the Hero Association? Because they are just an obstacle to him, like he said, for Metal Knight. So he's kind of just hiding in plain sight. He's being an ally to them because it's the smart thing to do. And then when the right opportunity strikes, he wants to take over everything and essentially take over the world because that's what he claims Metal Knight wants. So not only is Drive Knight the friggin' traitor, but he's evil and he's one of the biggest villains in this series. What a crazy 180. I thought it was Metal Knight. It was actually Drive Knight. But let's get into Metal Knight because not only is he not the traitor, but he already figured out everything that I just said. And he actually tried to help the Hero Association. So he did in fact retrieve enough data using his robot inside of the Monster Association, the one that was destroyed by Orochi. But he tells Child Emperor in Chapter 85 that if he were to tell him all of the info and reveal where the Monster Association was, then he'd be sending them all to their doom, along with the hostage Waganma. And he felt that he was making the most rational call based on his own personal justice. And it's at this point, Metal Knight drops one of the biggest bombshells in the entire series, and it went right over our heads because we didn't exactly understand what he was saying at the time. So he says, I'm not afraid of the Monster Association itself. There are other evils out there eyeing the world. When humanity finds itself at its weakest point, they will strike and take everything. You need to be careful too. Don't trust anyone by your side. So before he is obviously talking about the organization and Drive Knight leading it. And not to trust Drive Knight. I assume he just didn't have enough evidence to prove it yet. So that's why he kept it cryptic. But this also confused Child Emperor just like the rest of us, because Child Emperor became suspicious of Genos instead. But does this mean Metal Knight was a good guy all along? Should he actually be trusted now? Well, let's see. So in the bonus chapter Rangers, it's revealed that the Hero Association imprisons monsters, and that the cells used to contain them were developed by Metal Knight. These monster prisons were like originally intended for medical research, but it's revealed in that chapter that one of the branch directors of the association was harvesting the monsters for profit. Once Metal Knight finds out about this, he says, "Many collectors want monster skins and stuffed specimens, but I cannot believe someone would try to profit off of them. I shall take measures to ensure that he," the branch director, "is expelled from the association. The association big shots disgust me. They are exceedingly easy to manipulate, but I'll let them run free a little longer." Now, this isn't Metal Knight being sinister. He's trying to rid the Hero Association of corruption. And this is like a prevalent storyline even currently in the webcomic. And don't worry, I won't go into spoilers. But this lines up with Bufoy talking about his rational calls based on his own personal justice. Metal Knight isn't evil. He's just a stern pragmatist with like a no-nonsense stance on justice. And I feel everything discussed in this video has like completely changed my view on Metal Knight. I didn't trust him before, but now I feel that he's like one of the truest heroes in the association, while Drive Knight clearly is the most evil. So that's pretty much it for the video today, guys. Wow, what a twist. Metal Knight is a good guy, and Drive Knight is one of the biggest villains in the series. Let me know what you think about all of this. Do you agree with me on most of this stuff? If not, let me know. And if you liked it, guys, please give it a like. I also have a Patreon. It gives you access to a weekly Q&A. And if you haven't already, please subscribe as well. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.